don't realise it, but every day we're bombarded by over 1,500 adverts designed to manipulate our behaviour. But if we're going to get what we want in the modern world, we need to master the art of persuasion ourselves. In this programme, you will find out why music makes us spend more.
There wouldn't be anyone in the shop if there wasn't any music, I should say.
How images can control our minds without our knowledge. And how some people can get their teeth filled without anaesthetic and feel no pain. At various stages, actors, stooges and subliminal trickery will be used in a blatant attempt to teach you how to be more persuasive. But first up, who are the classic persuaders?
Politicians.
Margaret Thatcher.
Adolf Hitler. Bill Clinton was just the best. The funniest too.
Persuasion isn't limited to a handful of world leaders. We all do it, although some of us are better at it than others. Let's see a skilled operator in action. Chris Routledge isn't your average salesman. He's one of the best. Expert in persuading people to buy top-of-the-range collectible cars.
I understand you're interested in buying a vintage Ferrari.
So here are some of the top techniques for selling motors, straight from the horse's mouth.
One of the most important early parts of the sales process is establishing rapport. Rapport means good communication, and that's essential when you're trying to sell something. Once the rapport's established, the next most important thing is to find out what the customer likes and what they dislike. I mean, there's no point in trying to sell them something that they really, really don't want. Once we know what the customer likes, then we can set about creating that all-important desire in the car we're trying to sell them. And that's all about telling them all the reasons why they've just got to have that car. The higher the quality of the product, the easier it is to sell. And selling something as rare and exclusive as this isn't too hard at all. I usually save the test drive to the end of the process, but if I know the car's really, really hot, I put the customer in at the beginning, and that test drive often does my job for me.
So, these are some of the techniques that a top salesman uses to sell 250 grand's worth of motor car. But no matter what the product, these are universal techniques that are used on us all the time.
And the question is, can I apply those same techniques in a completely different environment?
I'm at the Llama Tree Festival in Dorset to show you that I can persuade people to buy something that's considerably cheaper than a Ferrari. Bubbles.
Open it up there in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah, and lift it up.
Okay.
Catch the air inside.
I reckon I can apply most of Chris's sales techniques here, but I'm also going to use some other classic persuasion techniques to help sell the bubble products.
I'm going to try and get an idea of their likes and dislikes and build rapport, and then I'm going to get them in here to have a look at all the different things they can buy. Remember, bubbles are gone in a second, so it's a flash purchase. I want them to part with their money straight away, almost without thinking, and then be on their way, enjoying their day.
2.
The festival goers can't resist my demo. It provides the ideal in for building some kind of rapport with my potential customers. And by giving them a go, a test drive, they are instantly hooked.
Well done!
That was excellent.
What we have inside here.
Having caught their attention, it's actually not that hard to lure them into the stall and the full product range.
I think you should blow your horn. Try that. Would you like to buy one?
Later.
Have a think about it.
Okay.
Have a great day. I established a lot of rapport then, I think, straight away, and I think she'll be back to buy. Are you a cat owner?
Yes.
Oh, no, right. I've got you. I've got you. You have to get this. Catnip bubbles.
If I know a bit about my customers, I can tailor my pitch to their individual tastes and budget.
Well, we've got plenty here for £7.
Think about it, because obviously it's something, you know, one has to, you know, you don't just be silly about it.
I could offer you a one-time only discount of £2, making this just £5. Thank you very much. It's a sale, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
I'm offering cash discounts because it is vital to close the deal on the spot. This is the secret of the impulse purchase. Because you're such a nice customer, you can come back for a free refill using our special dispensing unit. I'm also offering customers free refills of bubble solution. This is known by experts as reciprocity. I'm doing something for you for free, so you should do something for me, like buy something else. It's actually a form of emotional blackmail.
Where's a responsible adult with £3? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.
And there's solution in there.
Wow, brilliant.
Okay. The little,
the little trumpet. I can offer you
although I try to entice this customer back by using body contact and by mirroring her body language, she doesn't bite, and I lose the sale. Bubbles per minute, BPM. So I now know how to use some of the techniques of persuasion, and have had a pretty successful day. But there is always room for improvement. There is one almost unbelievably simple technique that all of us can use. We're sending an actor into a busy grocer's and asking him to jump the queue. He's going to try different techniques to persuade people to let him go in front of them. First, he pushes in without giving a reason.
Can I jump the queue?
No.
Excuse me, can I jump ahead of you?
I know your father, so...
Okay. Can I jump the queue?
You know what? No. I'm being shown.
Next, he pushes in, but gives a plausible reason for needing to go first.
Can I jump ahead of you? I'm in a rush. Excuse me, do you mind if I jump ahead of you? I'm in a rush.
This time, he's allowed to queue jump. And finally, he pushes in, but now he gives a really feeble reason.
Excuse me, do you mind if I jump ahead of you? I hate queues. Thanks.
And yet he still succeeds.
Thanks.
In tests, 9 out of 10 people got what they wanted by offering some kind of reason, no matter how ridiculous.
Hi, can I jump the queue? It's my birthday next week.
So it seems we can easily persuade people to do things just by offering them some kind of reason.
We all know the adage, it's not what you say, but how you say it that counts. And the voice is one of the most powerful tools in the salesman's persuasion toolkit. But while intonation, emphasis and tone can be taught and learnt, accents and their associations are a completely different ballgame. I've put together a very unscientific experiment. We have 3 distinctive accents. A Scotsman.
How you doing?
A Liverpudlian.
All right.
And a Londoner.
Hello.
And the question is, which one of these could persuade you to buy something if they cold called you?
Hello. I wonder if you could spare just 2 minutes of your time to discuss a fantastic offer. Are you thinking about changing some
or part of your kitchen
in the near future? If so, how would you like it to be paid
for by someone else?
Sir, let me just interrupt you, if I may, for a second. We're from the BBC. We're making a programme about psychology. I need a minute of your time.
Yeah.
Step this way. In just a second. We're from the BBC. We're making a programme about psychology. Spare me a minute of your time. Spare me 1 minute. Step this way. Step this way. Step this way. By standing here and imagining the phone's going to ring 3 times. Okay? I just want you to listen to the voices. Have a listen to each one. Voice number 1, please.
Hello. I wonder if you could spare just 2 minutes of your time to discuss a fantastic offer. Are you thinking of replacing your kitchen in the near future? If so, how would you like someone else to pay for it?
Thank you. Voice number 2.
Hello. I wonder if you can spare 2 minutes of your time to discuss a fantastic offer. Are you thinking of replacing your kitchen in the near future? If so, I would like someone else to pay for it.
Thank you. And voice number 3.
Hello. I wonder if you could spare 2 minutes of your time to discuss a fantastic offer. Are you thinking about changing your kitchen in the near future? If so, how would you like somebody else to pay for it?
OK, 3 calls, 3 identical killer offers. Which one of those calls was the most persuasive? Number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Number 3.
Why?
Because it's more clear to me, because it's my accent. It's the same accent.
The third one sounded more honest. But I think the first one had more character.
Which one, 1, 2, or 3, would you go for?
I'd go for number 3. Not to be rude, because I understood him more.
So it was clearer?
Yeah.
And it was similar to your own accent?
That's right.
Many thanks.
Okay.
Definitely number 3.
Any reason for that?
You heard what he was saying. He fully explained himself. It was slow, it was directly at you.
I quite liked voice 1, but I'd probably go for voice 3 because it's so similar to mine.
Yeah, it's probably English. Scottish one is nice. It's a nice live to it. Yeah, I thought number 1, he sounded very, very cheerful and Scottish, which is nice. And number 3, he sounded pretty competent and sort of like he knew what he was talking about. And I don't know, I didn't much care for number 2. Sorry.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm the same. Number 2 didn't really like. But I'd say number 1 was more persuasive.
So if you were kind of umming and ahhing at home, it sounds like you'd lean towards number 1.
I'd say, would you say?
Possibly number 3, if we needed a new kitchen.
Ooh.
Which,
No,
I mean,
I'm
I'm happy with the kitchen as it is, but if we needed one.
I'd say number 1.
OK, I'd say number 1 too, in the name of happy domestic
Oh,
life.
I'm not more persuasive.
Because she's always right.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
OK, there it is, about 50-50 between voice number 1, our Scotsman, and voice number 3, our Londoner. Number 1 was seen as friendly and approachable, and therefore quite persuasive. And voice number 3, the Londoner, equally so, possibly because we're filming in London. But in terms of installing free kitchens, voice number 2 was nowhere. It turns out that having the right accent can be surprisingly important. It's one of the many things we're not really aware of, but which has a massive influence on our persuasive hit rate. We set up an experiment to see if we can persuade people to do something that's entirely beyond their control. We're going to show a specially invited audience a public information film about road safety, which has a shocking ending.
One man against the
But we've doctored the film to see if we can manipulate their behaviour. We've added some very brief or subliminal shots of an everyday fruit, bananas, to the film. How many can you see?
He was their number 1 agent. Now, he's their number 1 target. One man against the system that created him.
How do I know I can trust you? Find him, bring him in, now!
But they picked the wrong guy. The Betrayal, starring Scott Smith, in what critics are calling the most electrifying performance.
Having shown the audience the film, we then asked them to choose a piece of fruit, either a banana or an apple.
I chose a banana and it sort of stood out on the table as I walked up to it.
Well, I chose a banana.
I chose the banana.
Well, I chose an apple.
My first instinct was to pick an apple, but I didn't. I picked a banana, and I have no idea why.
I chose a banana because I'm really hungry, and bananas are more filling than apples.
I chose the apple. When I saw everybody else going for the banana, I wanted to be different.
I got a banana because it's soft and nice.
I chose banana.
I chose the banana.
I chose the banana.
I chose the apple because I've got a banana in my bag.
It was time to come clean. There were, in fact, 7 subliminal banana images added to the film.
Were there?
Really? Fantastic. I knew there was something subliminal about that, but no, I didn't. I didn't get it.
The majority of the audience chose bananas, so the use of subliminal images had influenced their behaviour.
In the 1950s, it was decided that subliminal images and sounds were so potent they shouldn't be used, so they were banned. But what is a subliminal image?
Now, he's the
That was
number
one.
target.
It's an image that is so brief, our brains can't consciously register it.
Now,
Here it is again. Did you see it that time? OK, let's make it a little easier.
Now, he's the
There.
number one target.
But there are legal ways of manipulating people without them spotting what you're up to, and they can be extremely effective.
If you're trying to persuade someone to do something, it's important that they're in the right sort of mood, and music can help you do that.
Music empowers us. It blocks out the sounds we don't want, and it can boost our performance when we run, cycle and skate.
And it encourages us to buy stuff, especially clothes.
Music to shop by has come a long way since it was first used in supermarkets. There are now clubwear shops like this one who have devised their own music policy.
Tim, tell me something about the music policy you've created here for Cyberdog.
Well, what we want to create is the same vibe that you would get if you went clubbing or somewhere like that, that euphoric feeling as you walk into a club when it's at its peak and everyone's dancing, enjoying themselves. We want to sort of take that feeling, that good vibe, from the clubs and bring it into our store here.
Those vibes are created by DJs and VJs who constantly change the tempo to help persuade us to part with our hard-earned cash.
Harry, as the in-house DJ here, tell me a bit about how you select the soundtrack over the course of the day.
Well, we tend to start off with some fairly slow stuff to get people into the mood, obviously because it's the morning, people have only just got up and things, and then we pick up the tempo throughout the day, uplifting it to make people want to buy the clothes inside the shop.
OK, so technical question, though. What would be the sort of beats per minute as the day unfolds to get the right atmosphere here?
They probably start at about 130 or 140 with the with funky house and things. Any hard trance or hard house is about 150 to 160, and then 160 for psychedelic trance as well, which we use in the middle of the day.
The more beats per minute and the faster the music, the more likely we are to buy things. So how does music make us want to spend more? Well, there are two schools of thought on this: the arousal theory and the musical association theory. And before you get excited, arousal theory has nothing to do with sex.
It's all to do with arousal of the cortex, the thinking part of the brain. When music enters the ear,
the sound is transported along the auditory nerve to the cortex in the brain via the reticular activating system, or RAS. The RAS is vital in monitoring and regulating our general level of arousal or alertness.
And louder and more complicated music leads to greater arousal.
So, how does arousal affect our behaviour? Well, if we're highly aroused, we want to be more active. High arousal is good if you're in the gym and want to really get going. Low arousal is good if you're stuck in a traffic jam and just need to stay and sit in a bit of a stupor. And our arousal is largely down to the beats per minute of the track that we are listening to.
So when you're behind the decks and you're looking out, what do you see?
Oh, you see lots of people dancing, hopefully buying the clothes as well. Lots of people just enjoying themselves, basically, yeah.
And if there was a power cut, what would happen?
I don't think anyone would buy any of the clothes. There wouldn't be anyone in the shop if there wasn't any music, I should say.
So, the music that shops play can influence our shopping habits. And by creating a vibe that feels right, and by tuning into it, the owners can enhance our consumer urges. So that's the arousal theory, how the type of music played can stimulate us into buying more. Then there's the other one, the association theory.
Which is where this comes in. We make all sorts of associations with music. For example, if we hear accordion music, we assume we're listening to something French. But if we hear something like this, it makes us think of hippies.
The theory assumes that we like music we can easily define. This all stems from our primal survival instincts. Early man needed to be able to quickly identify things using the available clues. His ability to recognize the difference between, say, a woolly rhino about to charge and a woolly woman looking for love could quite easily have meant the difference between life and death. We need to be able to make decisions quickly, and we use all our senses, including hearing, to make instant connections and then act on them.
This theory also suggests that music can influence how much money we spend in restaurants. When classical music is played, we feel more affluent, so spend more money on food and wine.
Too bad it doesn't actually make us more affluent. In this experiment, we're seeing if we can persuade people to feel differently about personalities and their situations. So we've taken one simple drama sequence and put two totally different types of music on top. We want to see how our audience respond. Group A heard this one.
I think it was an emotional love story.
She all looked kind of gooey and into his eyes, and so there seemed to be a lot of feelings and a lot of affection going on between them.
I think it was a sad story, just the way their facial expressions were.
The final embrace and the look on both of their faces was not one of, oh, fantastic.
Quite a lot of guilt in it on the man's behalf, I think.
So I sort of saw him as a bit of a coward and an easy way out, giving her the letter, but it was very lovey-dovey.
Group B watched exactly the same pictures, but with this soundtrack.
It was very kind of dark and mysterious.
And the images of the water and the woman alone seemed in a vulnerable position.
My initial thought that she was going to be raped or attacked by the guy because of the music, the swirling music and the kind of moody shots of flowers and the sky and that kind of thing.
And I felt that I had that like tingle in my stomach. It was like when you thought, oh, something's about to happen, like, don't open the door, sort of thing.
The acting itself, I actually thought was quite ominous, because like when they're meeting with that sort of music on, you expect something significant to happen.
So yeah, it was very tense and uncomfortable to watch.
As a result of changing just the music, our audiences came up with totally different versions of the characters' personalities, the storylines, and the emotional overtones of the film.
The world of advertising has been exploiting the full range of persuasive techniques for years. It specialises in creating desire, manipulating our moods through music, and selling us lifestyles that we should all aspire to.
One of the first people to do this was American PR guru Edward Bernays. He used Sigmund Freud's research into psychoanalysis to make people want things they didn't need. And he did this by linking mass-produced goods to people's unconscious desires. His greatest and most dubious achievement was breaking the taboo on women smoking, by persuading them that cigarettes symbolised independence and freedom. But as today's advertising market has become more cluttered, it has become increasingly difficult to make products stand out from the crowd.
So now a whole new breed of guerrilla advertisers are finding different ways of getting our attention.
Go on, buy something, buy something, buy something, buy something. You know you want to.
Floyd Hayes is head creative bloke for the New York branch of Cunning Ad Agency.
Many, many years ago, advertisers and brand owners had all the power, so they could create an advert and it would be a very, very blatant sales message on your TV.
Presenting the new Hoover Jr.
These days, the consumer actually is in control, and the choice is much greater than it ever was before.
Is it?
So advertisers really have to ask permission to market to people.
Traditional TV ads are like one-way traffic, delivering their message to the customer. The ad talks to us, but we rarely have the chance to talk back. What the new style of advertisers are doing is tapping into one of the best persuasive techniques there is, flattery, making us feel that we are part of an exclusive club, in on an elaborate in-joke, and clever enough to get it. Guerrilla marketing does this directly through witty activities and staged events, or indirectly through media coverage of the events and word of mouth. This is not just cost-effective, it's witty, cheeky, and it builds brand loyalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mini Open Air Theatre presents 2001, A Space Odyssey in Mini.
When Cunning took on the Mini convertible account, they decided to promote the car as a miniature stage for open-air theatre. This is a very scaled-down version of the cult film 2001, A Space Odyssey, and was played out on the streets of London's Soho, where an activity like this has a ready-made audience and becomes an instant talking point.
It is a licence for eccentricity. In fact, we actively encourage it here. The wilder, the crazier the ideas, the better it's going. But it has to be tied into some very strong marketing principles at the end of the day. So we get the wild ideas and we have to sort of rein them in a little bit so it makes sense with the brand proposition and the strategy of the advertising and so forth.
Basically, we're flattered. We feel good that we're included in an exclusive joke. And because we want to show off the fact that we are special and in on it and clever, we want to tell as many people as possible.
So, advertisers tap into our desires, aspirations and our insecurities to persuade us to spend money on things. But they don't stop there. They have other tricks up their sleeves to persuade us to behave differently.
Hi, I'm Sarah Rivers. Welcome to my crib.
This, believe it or not, is a public information film about crossing the road safely. Tailor-made for the MTV, action movie and game console generation.
One of those mad things that you think will never...
We're used to seeing drama and violence and have come to expect the unexpected on our screens.
Big bucket of popcorn. Follow your dreams because you never know where life is going to take you. Come and see my pool.
Now this is a blatant use of shock tactics to persuade us to act differently. But is it too shocking, or will our audience accept the violence if the intention is to do some good?
Come and see my pool.
Yeah, I think they got it right with the film. I think that it was pretty shocking, but effective.
The end was shocking, and it catches you up because you don't expect it.
You kind of get carried away in it all and think, oh, actually, yeah, wouldn't that be great, you know, if you really did make it to that extent and had that lovely house and all the trappings, and just as you're getting carried away in all of that in her life, then all of a sudden it was so dramatically ended, you know.
It's just the shock of it ending so abruptly. So I think it's been wonderfully done. It certainly gets the point across.
Well, we can justify the means here because the ultimate outcome, fewer deaths on the road, is obviously a good thing. But this is an attempt to control our behaviour, and there are other persuasive techniques that are used to control the way we behave.
Concentrate. Concentrate towards me.
Hypnosis is one of our most controversial persuasive tools. Although it's sometimes viewed as just sideshow entertainment, you can use hypnosis in all sorts of ways. From curing phobias to having your tooth drilled without anaesthetic.
A procedure that dentist Mike Gow has perfected.
Usually hypnosis is used in combination with other pain control techniques, for example using the injection, the local anaesthetic, or perhaps using nitrous oxide. Okay Mark, there you go, I'll just give you the glasses to pop on. It's very unusual to use it solely as the only use of pain control, but certainly is possible, and that's what we'll be demonstrating today. I'm going to ask you in a minute or two to take a big deep breath in and then breathe out. And as you breathe out, you can let your eyelids close, but just keep your eyes in that upward gaze.
Tooth on my lower right, it's really been really sore, and I've come in here today to have hypnosis rather than have, you know, the big dreaded needle, which I can't stand.
And breathe out, just let the eyes roll forward to a nice, comfortable, relaxed position, and just really feel yourself relaxing into the chair.
I've got a fear of needles, quite a big fear of needles. I don't like the needle going in and what have you. I can put up with it, but sometimes it makes me panic. So the hypnotherapy is obviously, it's a better way forward for me.
10, 9, 8, 7... Mark's come in today to have a filling done, which obviously involves the drilling out of the decayed part of the tooth, the removing of the bad part of the tooth, and then the filling placed. Usually people would find this uncomfortable, and obviously that's why we have the local anaesthetics. Today we're doing it without, because Mark feels comfortable that he can cope using the hypnosis. And 1. I wonder if you can notice, Mark, if I just lift the hand up now and just raise the hand all the way up, just allow it to come all the way up, how you can just feel that any remaining feelings from the hand can just drain down the arm, just leaving this hand completely cold, colder and colder, just so that this can feel cold, cold and sensitive. Can you feel that starting to happen? I wonder if you can just let the coldness, this insensitivity, to pass into and around the tooth. Take all the time you need. That's excellent. It's just the very back tooth there. You can feel the side of the tongue become slightly cold as well. How's that feeling?
Very cold. Very, very cold.
So it's almost frozen, do you think?
Yeah.
I'll give you this pen and paper and you can score from either 0 up to 10, with 10 being the most amount of discomfort that you could imagine. Excellent. Tell me, Mark, whereabouts were you feeling things there? Things at 0. Wow, that's fantastic. Absolutely comfortable. Comfortably closed. That's good. And again, just show me where things are at again there, Mark. Just write a number down. Fantastic. Let's take some. 6, 7, 8, open your eyes, 9, 10. Wide awake, fully refreshed. Well done, Mark. Quite happy?
I never felt anything that time. I feel absolutely fine. Yeah, fine. Relaxed. More relaxed than anything else, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't feel anything. Not one bit of pain. Maybe just a wee twinge near the end, but like nothing that I couldn't put up with, you know. It's like someone scratching your hand kind of type. That was all I felt throughout the whole procedure. It's excellent.
If a frog is turned on its back, it immediately goes into a trance-like cataleptic state and remains motionless with its limbs rigid. In natural conditions, animals exhibit a protective reaction to any external irritation. A damp piece of paper will be shaken off immediately. When the creature is put into a helpless position, the trance takes over again. But what is this strange state that can also be induced quite easily in most normal, healthy people?
Hypnosis puts you into a deep, trance-like state where you're awake but have shifted your mental focus. This makes your brain suppress its usual checks on what's real and what isn't. That means that hypnotists can stop the brain registering the pain, and they do this by suggestion. But we don't need to be in a hypnotic trance or sitting on a chair to be vulnerable to this sort of manipulation. Because hypnosis inhibits our usual reality checks, we are much more open to suggestion when we are in a hypnotic trance.
Don't underestimate the power of suggestion. It can be extremely effective in the susceptible. I'm going to conduct a little experiment and see if I can use my powers of suggestion to make people do what I want them to do.
And how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to persuade some human guinea pigs to hold a special plumb line, and then, by asking them to concentrate, make them think I can control it with my mind. This technique is used by psychologists and adapted by hypnotists to help people focus mentally. It's usually done in very controlled conditions, so trying it out in the open like this should be a real test of my persuasive powers.
Andy, right-handed? Okay. Just feel the weight. And what I'd like you to do, just hold it out about like that. I want you to just keep it as still as possible. But you're now going to begin to be aware it's going to move from right to left. Very slowly, from right to left. From right to left. You can feel it moving quite a lot now, from right to left. Yours is beginning to pick up now, from right to left. Right to left. Right to left. I'd now like to take your mind off that, and you're going to find it's going to stop. It's going to slow down. Slowing down, slowing down, slowing down, gradually, and stop. Okay. Well done, well done. Thanks very much.
That's really cool. I wasn't in control of it. Just didn't. I was just wondering why it was moving.
But hold the phone. If you weren't in control of that, who was?
You.
Oh my God!
So how does it work? I encourage the person holding the plumb line to focus on it and to concentrate. This acts as a form of everyday hypnosis, like getting really absorbed in a good book. and my subjects go voluntarily into something like a hypnotic state. I then start making suggestions that the plumb line might move, for example.
From right to left.
The person responds to this with tiny movements, minute impulses that they're unaware of.
From right to left.
And these movements make the plumb line move, although the person holding it might believe that it's being moved by some outside force.
Perfectly still. Thank you very much. That was great. How did you find that?
I wasn't really resisting it. I was holding it. I wasn't moving
Okay.
it. I wasn't aware of
Kind of going with it as
moving
it started moving.
Yeah.
Do you think that once it started to move, you were subtly increasing it a bit?
Probably, because you said it was going to move more. Maybe.
Maybe.
But it didn't feel like that. It felt as if my arm was still and I was just doing what you said.
Are you right-handed? If you could hold it in your right hand. Right-handed? Hold it in your right hand.
Buoyed up by my success, I've decided to try the experiment on a bigger group of people.
So what I'd like you to start with is just look at the plumb line, the weight at the bottom. Just concentrate on the shape of it. Look at the contours of it. Look at the shiny metal. And nothing else. If it begins to move from left to right, from left to right, don't stop it. Just be aware of it moving. If it begins to move from left to right, just go with the flow. Beginning to move now. That's it. Left to right. Just swaying left to right. Left to right. Now be aware that it's going to change direction and move towards me. Towards you, towards me. Your one, moving towards you, just gently. Towards you, towards me. Towards you, towards me. In and out. Towards me, towards you. And then finally, be aware the plumb line will now stop moving. It'll be completely still. Staying still. Staying still. Completely still. Thank you very much.
I wasn't actually moving it. I just held out my arm.
You could feel something pulling though. Yeah. There was definitely something moving it. I just thought, oh, it's probably the wind or something, then tried to forget about it, but it just seemed to happen with whatever you said.
You were trying your best to start with. I could hear your mind saying, it's not going to move.
Yes.
And then...
Well, I just thought it was quite interesting because I was then aware, sort of in my lateral vision, that other people's were. And I thought that's quite interesting. So I was kind of half focusing on it to make it not move. And then I thought it'd be quite interesting to see if I just let go and did go with it, whether or not it would. And then it did.
And so it's part of what I was saying and part of your awareness of what was happening to the people to either side of you.
You get a kind of peripheral vision and you just think, oh, that's quite interesting. I wonder if it would if I did. Because I got curious and so then I let it go and then it moved, which was weird.
So can we be persuaded to behave differently by what others in our social circle are doing, or in some cases, not doing?
We've invited 5 strangers to take part in an experiment about peer pressure. They think they're helping a doctor with her research into group response times. They'll be asked to complete a 3-dimensional puzzle as quickly as possible. And for the research to be valid, it is vital that no one has done the puzzle before. But there are some things the group don't know. The first is that the doctor is an actor wearing a hidden mic. The second is that one of the group is also an actor who has done the puzzle before and who's going to encourage the others to cheat. The third is that they are being secretly filmed on hidden cameras. So how will the group respond? Will they collude with the actor? And will individuals in the group let themselves be persuaded by peer pressure to sabotage the doctor's supposedly scientific research?
What I want to do is to time your response into doing this puzzle here. It's very, very important that no one's done this puzzle before. Does anyone recognise it at all? That's excellent. Great. OK. Can one of you volunteer to use this stopwatch? So as soon as you start, you just press this button here. And then, once you've completed the puzzle, just press it again. Okay. All right? Great, thank you. And can somebody else volunteer to use this bell here? Yeah, great. So once you've finished the puzzle, can you just ring that, and then I'll know when to come back in? Unravel it. So, good luck and all the best, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes. All right? Great.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm totally hopeless. Well, my theory is blue is for the sea, so they'll be at the bottom. That is the ground, and that is the sky, the sun. So I'm thinking, you can look at it like that. Put it together.
Excellent, you're doing
Are you good at these?
Yeah, did you get asked if you'd done this before we came in? Because I know how I've only got 5 minutes. Can I just quickly see? Because I had this at Christmas, and if it's the right thing, I think it would be quite fun if I can just remember quite how it works.
Although the actor makes it pretty obvious he's done the puzzle before, the group as a whole seem to go along with him. No one actually speaks out against the blatant cheat.
Yeah, we could say it was team. Yeah, that's right. That's kind of teamwork, isn't it? I reckon that is kind of teamwork kind of thing going on.
So do I. Yes.
No.
Something has to go down.
I can just. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Is it done? Stop.
Okay. Do you want to ring the bell? Okay.
3 minutes.
Stop it.
Okay, 3 and 9. Ian.
We need to know.
What's your name?
Hanks. James.
Linda. Hi. Louise.
What was our approach then?
Yeah. Did we did it by colours, or did we just trial and error?
No, I think...
While the group wait for the doctor to return, they quickly discuss what their strategy will be to back up the actor's cheat. They are happy to collude with one another in a lie, although they have only just found out each other's names.
That's really fantastic. That's so quick. That is just fantastic. I think that's the fastest so far, actually, that any group of people have done it. So that's really, really amazing. I'm so impressed. That's incredible. That's great. So you shouldn't. That nobody's done this puzzle before.
We've done Rubik's Cubes before, so.
Yeah? Great. Thanks very much. Thank you.
The doctor has already given the group the chance to own up to the fact that one of them has cheated and sabotaged her research. She now gives each of them the chance to grass on the actor. And to make it easier for them, she gives them the chance to dish the dirt in private. But will they come clean?
I think the group went really, really fast. Doing the
We tried
puzzle.
to, yes.
One of the fastest times, actually, that I've ever experienced before. So why do you think you were such a fast group?
Very early on, we sort of agreed that, we wanted a certain approach to it.
And then the guy next to me, Ian, he picked up on that and he started to... I passed over one of the pieces to Ian and he started to put the pieces together from that.
I was just looking on in amazement. I think, is it Trish? No, Linda. She had some insight about the sun going at the bottom or something, and then Ian was pretty integral. I just let them do their thing. Yeah.
And do you think that no one had done this puzzle before?
Do I think that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it was done.
It was
quite
done.
fast.
Yeah. I don't know.
Why do you think it was so fast?
Because Ian knew how to do it, because I think he's a plant and I've been had.
Oh. So you think that Ian had done this puzzle before? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So, one of the group has seen through the deception. How will the others respond when we ask them what their motives have been for lying?
So did you hear me say you can't lie? I wasn't comfortable with it, but now when she was asking the questions, I was thinking, well, if I'm last and there's 4 people before me and they've said no one's done it before, and I come here and say, oh, Ian had done it, then I'm the bad guy.
I do like to win, and there was a desire to bend the rules a little. It seemed like an advantage, and it would have been churlish to pass off on it.
20 years ago, it was entirely different, and peer pressure was very, very, dominant in my life. And also, I used to worry like hell about what people thought of me and all that kind of thing. But now, don't care, do what I want. I think its age plays a big part in that. But I think with the younger kids, peer pressure is paramount.
But the pressure comes from you just don't want to be the stand out like that, just to go along. You just want to go along.
As we know, going along with the crowd has led us into some very dark places in the past. And history has shown how going with the flow can persuade us to do things which are totally against our better judgment. We fear rejection, being picked on and being excluded. There is safety in numbers, and when part of a group, we feel strong. Standing alone can make us feel isolated and vulnerable, leaving us open to manipulation.
And some people exploit our insecurities and fear of rejection to make us do what they want us to do, whilst persuading us to think that's what we want to do too.
We came from distant space.
This sort of manipulation is used by some religious sects. They don't call themselves cults, but they operate on the same level.
It means that even the mind that you had as a human is aborted.
Ian Howarth was himself a member of a cult, but he is now the director of the Cult Information Centre.
It is a myth to imagine that you could not be recruited into a cult. You can, and there are over 500 operating in the UK at present. People assume you have to be young, probably falling apart at the seams, maybe you're on drugs or something. The reality is different. The easiest person to recruit into a cult tends to be someone that comes from an economically advantaged family background, is well educated, and is often described as idealistic. They're smart, caring people.
Now, if you would hold your patch, see, it says Heaven's Gate Awaiting.
There are some clues that you may be being approached by a cult recruiter. If this person wants to give the impression of being your best friend ever within the first minute of meeting you, then maybe there's a hidden agenda. I would say that every single person that is in a cult, other than perhaps the leaders, the founder leaders, does not realise that he or she is in a cult.
Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces.
If they did realise that they were in a cult, they wouldn't stay.
Tough. He's got more than guns. He's got God.
To describe cult leaders as very persuasive is putting it extremely mildly. Cult leaders have latched on to these methods known as methods of psychological coercion. These mind control techniques include things like hypnosis. It will be disguised in some other way. There is tremendous peer group pressure to conform to the wishes of the group at all times. Sleep deprivation is very, very common so that you become fatigued. Something called love bombing. Lots of hugs and kisses from the opposite sex. It's one great family, you're really welcomed, as long as you toe the party line and don't ask any questions. But the moment you do ask an awkward question or go against the party line, the love is turned off. When they're used en masse, the average person will be broken down by a typical cult in a matter of 3 or 4 days. If that person manages to escape, whether they've been in the cult for 2 weeks, 2 years, or 20 years, it normally takes at least a year to fully recover from the damage done.
The persuasion techniques used by cults are so intense, it's nothing short of brainwashing. But these techniques are found in dilute form in everyday life. We all need to be able to use them, but at the same time we have to be aware when they're being used on us. This program has only scraped the surface of the techniques that are used every day. But by getting inside the head of the great persuaders, you can become a better persuader yourself. And if right now I were to offer you a slice of fresh pineapple or a slice of fresh melon, which would you choose? You'd choose pineapple, wouldn't you?